1962, an American U-2 secret plane went to Cuba and found a nuclear missile site. Let's go to Diana reporting live with someone from Kennedy's administration.
Thank you, Giselle. Now here I am on the scene with someone from Kennedy's administration. Now Penny, what happened and who is responsible for this?
President John F. Kennedy wasn't aware until the next day that American U-2 spy plane was taking pictures of Cuba. And the pictures show that Cuba had missiles. The people responsible for this was the Soviet Union. They had nuclear missiles sighting being built.
What did President John F. Kennedy do?
Well, first, President John F. Kennedy was in shock. He didn't know how to react to the situation. He decided to plan a meeting with us to discuss about the action we'll be taking. Before it becomes war between the Soviet Union and the U.S., President John F. Kennedy decided to have a naval blockade for the Soviet Union cannot bring any more military supplies to Cuba.
How did the Soviet Union react to the blockade?
President John F. Kennedy wrote a letter to the Soviet Union telling them to remove any military supplies they had in Cuba because the U.S. was already aware of what was going on.
Did the Soviet Union respond back, and what was John F. Kennedy's reaction?
The Soviet Union did respond back. The message that they had to the United States was that the blockade was an act of aggression. They said that they were going to continue sending ships to Cuba. John F. Kennedy's solution was that war was going to occur between the Soviet Union and the United States.
How did President John F. Kennedy and the Soviet Union come to an agreement?
The Soviet Union and the United States didn't want to go to war. So the Soviets decided to remove the missiles if the United States removed theirs from Turkey. They decided not to attack Cuba and both agreed. So that's how the Cuban Missile Crisis ended.
Thank you, Penny, for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we'll see you next time. Now back to Giselle in the studios.
Thank you, Diana and Penny. Now let's talk about the Korean War. Diana's live now reporting on the scene. What can you tell us about the Korean War?
Go. Thanks a lot, Giselle. I'm Diana, reporting live from Korea, where the issue is the Korean War. That happened in June 25th, 1950, which was the first military action of the Cold War. We're here live with Jenny. How you been, and what can you say about the Korean War?
Hello, I'm doing fine. The war was horrible. There was a lot of lives lost of civilians and soldiers.
Janae, we know that the communists of North Korea had invaded South Korea. Do you think China should have joined North Korea?
I don't think China should have gotten involved in the war of North Korea because it was something between North and South Korea. But the reason why China was getting involved was because China wanted to defend or protect their territory, and the communist leader of North Korea wanted to have Korea under his control.
How did you feel when you would see people dying?
I just felt bad. Like, you would see people getting shot and then falling, and then just a lot of people dead on the floor. It was just bad, and especially when one of my best friends died during the Korean War.
How do you feel about the Korean War lasting 3 years?
Yeah, I felt bad. Like, there was a lot of lives of people just lost, and how the communist leader of North Korea just wanted to spread communism. I mean, everyone has their own opinions, thoughts about certain things.
Well, there you have it. Now going back to the studio with Giselle.
Thank you, Diana. This was an opinion of a person that survived from the war. Now we're going to go on a little break and we will come back with more news.
Fun is a little child watching you make a party from a package. Pillsbury Deluxe Golden Yellow Cake. Fun is frosting, fluffy, white, swirling, high. Pillsbury, too. Light the candles of fun on your golden yellow cake. Pillsbury Deluxe.
Oh boy, that looks good.
Welcome back. I'm Giselle Castellanos, and the next story is on Hollywood Blacklist. Now let's send it out to our reporter on the scene, Diana Gonzalez. What can you tell us about the event of the Hollywood Blacklist?
Thank you, Giselle. I'm Diana Gonzalez reporting live from Congress, where the issue today is how Hollywood stars are being blacklisted and losing their jobs. We're here live with Bella Rose, who has to say.
I was a witness of being blacklisted. I had the best life. Top of the list guys, everything one could imagine. And I had the best house and I was stylish. But one day, all that went away. I lost everything. The fame, the clothes, the guys, the house, everything that was amazing. Now I have a boring house, ripped clothes, and the food isn't so deluxe.
Do you, Miss Rose, know the process of being blacklisted?
I don't know much, but I do know if you answer the committee's central question, are you or have you ever been a member of the Communist Party? And those who confess to the membership were given the opportunity to name fellow travelers.
Did you, Bella Rose, give names?
Yes, I did because it was the safest route for me.
What was the other route?
The other route was jail time, further questioning, and investigate deeper into your background.
Thank you, Miss Rose. Now let's send it back to Giselle.
Thank you for that report, Diana. Well, folks, it's surprising how fast accusations made by Joseph McCarthy destroyed a lot of people's livelihood, like Bella Rose. Now, on to our last story of the day, the military alliances of the Cold War. The two main ones we'll be talking about are NATO and the Warsaw Pact. Let's go back to Diana reporting live from a witness house from NATO.
Thank you, Giselle. I'm here on the scene with someone from NATO named Ace. Now, Ace, how did NATO form and why is it formed?
Let me start out with the reason behind why NATO was formed, which was for security reasons against the Soviet Union. The whole purpose of NATO is if a country gets attacked, then it's an attack towards all the countries involved in NATO, and they will attack back. In simpler terms, all the countries in NATO have each other's back. Now, on the story on how NATO was formed is pretty straightforward. Basically, a bunch of countries came together to protect one another from being attacked, but to also not have enemies. They are also fighting against communism.
What countries are involved in NATO?
The ones that I know of right now are Belgium, Britain, Canada, Denmark, France, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, and the United States. And we are hoping in the future we will get more.
What impact does NATO have in the world?
The impact that NATO is doing right now is it's providing protection and it's intimidating our enemies so they won't attack any of the members of NATO.
Thank you, Ace, for explaining NATO to us. Now may you talk about the Warsaw Pact?
Well, the Warsaw Pact came into existence 6 years after NATO was formed. It was a response towards NATO, but the main reason the Warsaw Pact was made was that Western Germany joined NATO and rebuilt their army. The USSR was intimidated, so they did the Warsaw Pact with Albania, Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, East Germany, Hungary, Poland, and Romania.
How did NATO feel about the Warsaw Pact?
NATO saw the Warsaw Pact as a potential threat and as an opponent towards capitalism. The Warsaw Pact was seen as Soviet / communist dominance in the East.
Can you tell us a little bit about SATO?
The way I see SATO is that it's another form of NATO, except it's meant to protect the countries in Southeast Asia. It's another organization made by the United States. It consists of France, Great Britain, New Zealand, Australia, the Philippines, Thailand, Pakistan, and of course the United States. Its purpose is the same as NATO, to protect against communism. That's all I have to say about military alliances.
Thank you, Ace, for taking time to talk to us today. Now let's send it back to Giselle at the studio.
Thank you, Diana and Ace. That was the last story of today, folks. Tune in next time for a story of the Bay of Pigs and the Truman Doctrine.